What's up guys, I am BlackOpsAmazing, welcome back to another Zombies video on the channel, back with another Q&A where we take your questions from the comments section below to do with the zombie storyline and Easter eggs and answer them. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, a like rating would be very much appreciated. On the last video we hit, I think it was like 1.5k likes, so if we could do the same on this one, that would be very much appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content, and here we go. So the first question that I'm going to be answering today from the kid_86 says, what happens when you kill the zombies near the chest and origins? So around origins you will see there are 4 chests, and these 4 chests are all part of the ritual of the ancients. You can see just above it we have this tablet with Richtof and Takeo, Nikolai and Dempsey's name on them, and what you have to do is complete different objectives for each character, and in doing so, when you finish them all, you will be rewarded. One of the 4 challenges is to spend 30,000 points, and if you finish that you get double tap for free. Another one is to get 115 headshots, in which you get a pack-a-punch weapon. If you capture 6 generators you get a max ammo, but as you're saying in this instance, if you fill up all 4 chests, you will get the 1-inch punch. But what I believe you're asking me is, what is actually happening when these chests are filling up? Well, they're not really explained to us, but since this process is called the Ritual of the Ancients, I believe it's probably got something to do with them. Of course, the Ancients are the Keepers and the Vril. When you kill zombies near these chests, it sucks the souls out of the zombies and captures them. Why the chests need the souls, what they would be used for, I'm not sure. Is there an actual explanation, or is it just something for us to do in game? Again, we don't know, but that's about the best explanation I can give you. The next question of today from the Witch Doctor says, hey BOA, I have a question. Is the Nightmare storyline linked to the Zombies storyline? And the simple answer is no. A lot of people always ask me, is Nightmares linked to the normal zombies? Is World War II zombies linked to Treyarch zombies? Is Infinite Warfare zombies linked to Treyarch zombies? And the answer is no. Nightmares is in a totally separate universe to our normal Treyarch zombie storyline. Each of these different games has their own separate universe. So what happens in one game doesn't affect the other. World War II has no link to Treyarch. Infinite Warfare Zombies has no link to World War II or Treyarch. They're all totally different, and like I said, it's the same with Nightmares. Yes, they're both on the same game, it's both Black Ops 3, but the universe in which Nightmares exists, the normal zombies don't exist there. There's no such thing. There's no Richtof and Takeo, Nikolai or Dempsey. They don't exist in that universe, so there we go, no. King_Monkey04 says, what is the Emperor's message, and also what is the liquid that they use to revive people? So I've answered this second question before. This thing that we use to revive people, this needle that you pull out, is called a syringe. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not too sure. Commonly inside of this you would have morphine. I mean, I don't know what magical stuff they're using to revive people. I mean, it is zombies. I have no idea what could be in here. But like I said, I've answered this before. This is what we use. What's inside of it, I don't know. But we inject it inside our friends and it revives them. And then your main question that I wanted to answer was, what is the Emperor's message? Now, if you take your mind all the way back to the beginning of Black Ops 3, and I think this may have even happened in Origins, I'm not too sure, but all of the time, Richtof would tease Takeo about a message from the Emperor. He would basically tell Takeo that the Emperor has a message for him, that he has to be patient, and soon enough Takeo will receive the Emperor's message. But as we go on, we find out that Takeo never actually speaks to the Emperor, and he never, in quotation marks, gets a message from him. So what was the Emperor's message, and what was Richtofen going on about? Why was he teasing Takeo in The Giant and Dries and Draka about him getting a message from the Emperor soon? Well, the message was actually delivered to Takeo. Richtofen wasn't lying, but it wasn't given to him in the way you might think. It wasn't a message that the Emperor was telling Takeo, it was kind of like a message that he learnt. The message from the Emperor that Richtofen was going on about was the message about him that Takeo was about to learn in Zetsubo no Shima. We know that Takeo is this honourable Japanese servant of the Emperor. Takeo always praises him. He goes on about him every freaking map. Shut up. But Takeo all his life has been blinded by his own faith. He loved the Emperor that much that he couldn't see what he was actually doing to him. And even up until they got to Zetsubo no Shima, until they got to the island of Pompeii, Takeo still loved the Emperor. And then, as we see at the end of that Easter egg, when Takeo sees that his older version has been turned into a giant thrasher because he'd been betrayed by the Emperor, it was then that Takeo learned his message. The message from the Emperor that Richtofen was talking about for so long was the message that he learned in Zetsubo no Shima, which was that the Emperor wasn't actually the person who he thought he was. Takeo thought everyone around him was the enemy and the only person he could trust was the Emperor, when in fact it was actually the other way around. The Emperor betrayed Takeo, gave him to Division 9 and told them to use him as a test subject. So there we go, Takeo finally learned his message in Zetsubo no Shima. CJ Gandhi says, BOA. If I'm right, didn't the 2.0 Richtofen save the transit crew in Buried? And if I'm right, then why couldn't he also save the Shadows of Evil crew? So yes, an alternate version of Richtofen did save the transit crew. I don't really think that's necessary to your question though. What you're asking is, why couldn't Richtofen save the Shadows of Evil characters? If he's going along this journey saving Nikolai, Takeo and Dempsey when he really doesn't have to. It was only in Zetsubo no Shima when he decided to save them by getting blood vials for them. Up until that point he really wasn't planning on saving them, only himself. Well, why when he goes to Shadows of Evil and takes the summoning key and then leaves them, what you're asking is, couldn't he have saved the Shadows of Evil crew? Because we know that they did die. After Richtofen left, the Apothicons destroyed their dimension. They destroyed Dimension 63, which meant the Shadows of Evil crew were killed. Of course, they assisted Richtofen, not directly, but they did get the summoning key, and then he took it off them. So for that, just to show some gratitude, maybe he could have saved them, that's what you're asking, but I don't know. Of course, it wasn't part of his plan. Maybe attempting to save the Shadows of Evil crew could have harmed them. I don't really know how he could have saved them though, because the Apothicons destroyed their dimension, and I'm pretty sure Richtofen wouldn't have been able to stop them from doing that. I mean, maybe Richtofen could have taken the Shadows of Evil crew with him when he left through the rift, but as we know, they were in a twisted version of Morgue City, so maybe if they were to leave, then that could cause a paradox or something in the timeline to mess up. So I don't know, I'm not exactly sure why Richtofen didn't save the Shadows of Evil crew. I mean, he didn't know them personally, so I guess, well, why would he? But then there's also the question, could he? Hey, this rhymes. I don't know, but it's definitely interesting. The next question says, why are there statues of the Primis characters in Gorod Karovi, Revelations, and I also think in a few other maps as well? So yes, and this is a good question. It's one that I don't really have the answer for, but it's definitely something I want to talk about. Now, the first time we ever saw these statues of the Primis characters was in the tomb in Origins. When we first saw this, we thought maybe this is the burial site for the Primis characters, but obviously that wasn't the case. These statues of the Primis characters were actually built to symbolise hope that one day, if the great evil of the Apothicons ever fell upon mankind again, that they would return. These statues were built in 1300, just after the Great War finished and the Primis heroes disappeared. These statues were built to symbolise them, and if one day the Apothicons returned to Earth, the Primis characters would return as well. So that explains why we see them in Origins, but that doesn't necessarily explain why we then see the statues, like you say, in Gorod Karovi and Revelations. In Gorod Karovi, you can see them right here by where the dragon takes off. There's only one or two of them standing, some of them are actually knocked down, but you can tell these are the Primis characters holding their swords. And then again, you can see them in Revelations. In this area, in a circle together, we have the Primis characters. Why would we have statues of them in Revelations, which is, well, we don't exactly know where Revelations is, where the location is. We know that Gorod Karovi is in Stalingrad. Why their statues are there, it's a bit unclear. You could say maybe due to the fracturing of the earth, they've been misplaced just like many things in our zombie storyline, but it just looks too neat. And it's a bit too strange for me for them to have all been teleported in this same place due to temporal fractures. Were they transported here? I mean, we know that Group 935 were operating in this base in Gorod Karovi. Why they would bring the Primis statues here though, I'm not sure. And then again, going back to Revelations, this room looks like it belongs to part of Duraz and Drakra, although we don't actually see it in that map. The brickwork and that's the same. But again, why we see these statues of the Primis heroes here, it's very odd. This is just one of those things that I don't actually have an explanation for. Like I said, the Origins one is explained, but this isn't mentioned anywhere in the Chronorum. It's just something we see throughout the maps, which you just think, what the hell is going on? It's one of those many things that we have. If you guys know, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'd definitely be interested to hear what you guys think. Anyway guys, there we go. That is all I have for you for today's video. As always, hopefully you have enjoyed. If you have, you know what to do. You don't have to if you don't want to, but just drop a like rating on the video. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I am thinking of doing a new series. In fact, I think I'm going to. And what this is going to be is just ideas of maps that we could get in Black Ops 4, just cool ideas, going to Atlantis, going to cool places, whether they're fiction or non-fiction, real places, places that actually don't exist in real life but are super interesting. I'm thinking of doing a series on map ideas in Black Ops 4, describing that map, cool things that we could see, stuff like that. So if you want to get involved, leave your ideas on what maps you'd like to see in the comment section below. Anyway guys, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.